In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how to reverse the hidden villain, insulin resistance, and why type 2 diabetes is not just about sugar. Now, before we go any further, my name is Chris Feekins, and I am a type 2 diabetic specialist. My area of expertise is helping ladies over 45 with type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes, or maybe even prevention entirely. It might not be any of those things. And in the past 8 years, we've helped over 400 women achieve remission, lose 40 to 50 to 60 pounds plus, and get off all medications. So, we've gotten very good at that. Anyway, let me show you my screen. Here we go. So let's clear something up first. If you've been told your diabetes is just about sugar, just keep your blood sugar down, avoid carbs forever, then you've only been shown the smoke and not the fire. And that's exactly why so many women feel stuck, frustrated, and exhausted, even when they feel like they're doing everything right. Okay. If any of that resonates with you, you're not alone, right? You're absolutely not alone. Today, we're going to fix that, because when you understand the real problem, you stop blaming yourself and you finally get your power back, your control back. Now, the biggest myth about type 2 diabetes: my diabetes is just about sugar. Now, it sounds logical, but that's not right, right? And it sounds logical because high blood sugar equals diabetes, lower sugar equals problem solved. But here's the truth most people never hear: high blood sugar, it's just a symptom. That's all it is. It's just a symptom. It's not the root cause. It's not the real problem. It's like blaming the smoke alarm for the fire. You can silence the alarm all day long, but if the fire is still burning, the danger remains, right? High blood sugar is just the warning light on your dash cam, right? If a warning light came up on your dash cam, you wouldn't go, "Oh no, the warning light's come back on again. I'm going to fix the light." No, you fix whatever's happening underneath the hood, right? High blood sugar is just the light on your dashboard, right? When you're driving, yeah. It's not the real problem though. The real problem is under the hood, right? And that's what we're discussing here today. All right. So the real villain, insulin resistance. Insulin has one main job. It's not the only job, but this is one of its main jobs, is to move sugar out of your blood and into your cells so that it can be used for energy. But over time, something changes. Your cells stop responding properly. This is called insulin resistance. Think of it like this: insulin, knocks at the door, right? Bang, 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 right? Insulin is knocking at the door, right? And the cell responds, "We're not listening." So the blood sugar, the sugar itself, stays in your bloodstream. It can't get through the door out of your bloodstream. So it stays circulating your bloodstream, not because you're broken, not because you lack discipline, but because the door isn't being opened for you anymore. That's essentially, in simple terms, how insulin, resistance impacts blood sugar, right? Now, here's why adipose tissue is the missing piece, right? Now, adipose tissue is a fancy name for body fat, and this is the part almost no one explains clearly. Excess fat tissue, excess adipose tissue, it's the same thing, especially around the organs, blocks insulin signal, right? Fat cells aren't passive storage, they are biologically active. When there's too much of them, insulin signals get disrupted, inflammation increases, cells become resistant to incoming energy. So your body compensates by releasing more and more insulin to try and keep up. But blood sugar still rises, weight becomes harder to lose, and the cycle repeats. That's the fire, the insulin resistance itself. Now, adipose tissue, excess fat, doesn't necessarily mean you can see it, right? Around your stomach, around your legs. The type of adipose tissue that causes even more insulin resistance is the adipose tissue that you can't see, right? And that is the fatty tissue around your internal organs, which is why it's possible for people that are of healthy weight or even underweight to still be type 2 diabetic or pre-diabetic, because they still have an abnormally high amount of adipose tissue that you can't see. And the solution is still the same. It's no different. We've got to reduce that, whether it's losing 3 pounds or 30 pounds, right? So why just managing sugar keeps you stuck? Most advice focuses on cutting out foods, avoiding carbs, micromanaging numbers, living in fear of spikes, but none of that addresses insulin resistance. None of that fixes insulin resistance, because none of this leads to a reduction in adipose tissue, a reduction of excess fatty tissue. We've got to achieve fat loss. And none of these things, micromanaging your blood sugars doesn't do anything. It doesn't reduce fat loss, right? It doesn't achieve fat loss. It's like mopping the floor while the tap is still running. You might feel in control for a while until, life happens. Then you're right back to where you started. So we want to fix the fire, not the smoke. Now, if we bring it all together, smoke equals the high blood sugar. Fire equals the insulin resistance that's caused by adipose tissue, aka body fat, right? And this isn't like my own theory. This isn't my opinion. This is objective truth, right? This is proven to be a thing, right? This is proven to be a thing. Again, it's not like my opinion. It's like trying to argue this is the equivalent to trying to argue that gravity doesn't exist. Gravity exists, it's proven. Insulin resistance is caused by adipose tissue. That is proven at this stage. So most approaches say control the smoke, right? What actually works is this: reduce insulin resistance. And when that happens, blood sugars become easier to manage, cravings reduce, energy improves, weight starts moving without like force, without having to white knuckle your way through it, with a closed fist, right? At war with yourself every day. Now, again, none of this is theory, right? This is all proven fact. And before, we move on, I want you to hear this very clearly, right? None of this, lowering your A1C, isn't some wishful thinking. It's what happens when insulin resistance is addressed. If you want to lower your A1C, if you want to lose weight, if you want to achieve remission, if you want to get rid of type 2 diabetes, that can happen. And that's what does happen when we address the insulin resistance. Right? I myself have worked with thousands of women with type 2 diabetes who were told the condition was permanent, medication was forever, weight loss would always be a battle. And instead, here's what we've seen repeatedly. Kathy lost 140 pounds, took her A1C to below 4.9 and came off all medications. Shelley achieved the same, but she lost 50 pounds. And many other women, right, have achieved exactly this. In fact, we've coached over 400 ladies one-to-one to achieve total remission. And when I say we've helped thousands of people, we've got a community on Facebook, a free community where we've got almost 10,000 ladies with type 2 diabetes. So we have truly impacted thousands of people and helped thousands of people whilst addressing, the things that really matter, right? Different women, different lives, same root cause: insulin resistance caused by an excess of body fat, adipose tissue. And once insulin resistance starts coming down, everything else starts getting easier. That's the pattern, right? So one last thing, right, before we kind of wrap this up: type 2 diabetes isn't a life sentence. It's a signal that insulin resistance has built up over time, right? Type 2 diabetes is not a life sentence, right? And here's the really empowering part: the insulin resistance is reversible. Fatty tissues responds quickly to the right inputs, and your body wants to heal when you stop fighting it by focusing on all of the wrong things, right? And nothing that we've spoken about here is about some weird extremes. No, that's unsustainable. The more extreme something is, the harder it is to do, the less sustainable it is, and you're never going to actually stick to it long enough. That's just the truth, right? It's about working with your biology instead of against it. So you don't need more restriction. You don't need more guilt. You don't need more starting over. What you do need is the right target, the right thing to be aiming at, the right sequence, the right steps, and small strategic actions that reduce insulin resistance first. Because when you fix the cause, the symptoms take care of themselves, right? So if you've ever thought, why is this so hard for me, right? Why does nothing ever work? I must be doing something wrong. Nothing ever sticks. I want you to hear this very clearly, crystal clear. You were never failing. You were just fighting the wrong enemy, focusing on the wrong things. But now you know exactly where to aim, right? If you've got any questions about what we just went through, well, I'm sat here in this chair, drinking my water, talking about these things because I want to help you. So if you've got any questions, if you're like, Chris, I'm confused, send me a message. Send me a message. I'm right here. Literally. I don't want you to leave more confused than when you came. Lean on me where needed. And if you found this helpful, let me know down below. And I'll speak to you very, very soon. All right. Au revoir. Au revoir.